And the DeSantis announcement means the Republican nomination is just down to 2 people. It is make or break for Nikki Haley tonight. And Joe Khalil is in Exeter, New Hampshire with the Haley campaign. Joe, what can you tell us?
Natasha, it's been one of the storylines of this campaign from the beginning is why Nikki Haley and, for that matter, Ron DeSantis didn't go after Donald Trump more assertively, more aggressively. We've seen that now over the last 48 hours or so from Nikki Haley. She has made Donald Trump's vulnerabilities a centerpiece of her stump speech, of all of her campaign events. And now that it's virtually a 2-person race after Ron DeSantis dropped out, I imagine we're going to hear a lot more of that tonight from Nikki Haley. Now that Governor Ron DeSantis suspended his presidential campaign, it's virtually a 2-person race. One Nikki Haley told reporters she's ready for.
He's been a good governor, and we wish him well. Having said that, it's now one fella and one lady left. May the best woman win.
And this weekend, a noticeable shift from Nikki Haley in the final push before New Hampshire voters take to the polls.
Are we really going to go to our kids and tell them that their options are 2 80-year-olds for president?
A much more aggressive effort to take on Donald Trump. At town halls and meet and greet events on the campaign trail, Haley highlighting Trump's age, calling out his, quote, temper tantrums, and accusing him of cozying up to dictators.
I had to sit down and have a conversation with him because he was having too much of a bromance with Putin. Like, you can't, these are enemies that want to hurt us. It's not a game.
But the attack that seemed to make the biggest impression on Haley supporters, the idea that Trump isn't mentally fit for the job. Haley highlighting this moment in which the former president seemed to confuse Haley for Nancy Pelosi.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that. These are very dishonest people.
Let's be clear. I wasn't in the Capitol on January 6th. I wasn't in office on January 6th. He mentioned it 3 times. He got confused. He got confused and said he was running against Obama. He never ran against Obama. Don't put our country at risk like this.
Still, the former president has consistently shown a double-digit lead in most recent polling. Haley trying to draw a contrast between herself and Trump, that she'd be the no-chaos candidate. And among some of her voters we've spoken to, that appears to be working.
I liked the fact that her organization seemed very well managed. I did hear her and Governor Sununu talking about how Donald Trump has driven people away from the Republican Party, which I agree with.
Natasha, look, the poll numbers are what they are at this point. Nikki Haley, her campaign, they know that they still have an uphill battle to fight right now in these next 2 days or so. If there's any silver lining, I can tell you, I just talked to about 15 people who were inside the auditorium waiting to hear from her. Most of them have not been to a Nikki Haley event before. You still got a lot of undecideds and a lot of people still checking her out for the first time. That is at least something the campaign can sort of hang their hat on as a possibility to convert more people.
Yeah, and the clock is ticking. Joe Khalil with Nikki Haley's campaign. We appreciate it. Joe, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.